This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Ease, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery and one of the best sources of legal cannabis consumer information and insight around. Fire up ease.com if you live in California and want to see what your local options are for marijuana delivery, and open up ease.com/blog to read all of the savvy bits of insight and analysis the brainy Ease team has done on their properly aggregated and anonymized sales flow. Ease saw an order go through their system once every 10 seconds last year, so they have a fairly enormous data set with which to infer and extract. Once again, that's ease.com, spelled E-A-Z-E, to check your local options for legal California marijuana delivery, and ease.com/blog to dive into their extensive library of smart industry insight. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Tuesday, February 27th, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 440 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story of the day is the vote held yesterday by the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission in favor of a plan that delays the opening of social use clubs and delivery services, but that clears the way for adult use dispensaries to open up this summer. As part of the plan that kicks back by a year the opening of social use clubs and delivery services, the commission voted to award the first round of social use club and delivery licenses to people living in areas with high arrest rates for drug offenses, those with marijuana convictions on their records, and close relatives of folks with cannabis convictions. While it is disappointing that social use clubs and delivery services will be delayed by a year, the plan to distribute licenses to people most negatively impacted by the war on marijuana is a hugely important and groundbreaking development. And for that, we can thank Commission member Shalene Title, who introduced the measure and who, as I've mentioned, is a friend of mine and an on-hiatus regular on our weekly podcast, Marijuana Today. Swing over to Dan Adams' excellent piece on this one in the Boston Globe for all the details. Yesterday, Denver approved its first legal marijuana social use license under a pilot program passed by city voters in 2016. We've talked about this one before with the Coffee Joint, a cafe that's currently open and running as a traditional coffee shop, seeking license that will allow its customers to use vaporizers and eat marijuana edibles brought from outside. The Coffee Joint's operators also own the cannabis dispensary next door, so customers won't have to walk far to get resupplied. Patrons won't be able to smoke marijuana as the state's indoor air laws are pretty strict about that sort of thing. Customers who shop in the dispensary next door will get free admittance to the coffee shop, while non-customers will pay a $5 cover charge at the door. Once up and running, the Coffee Joint will be the very first fully sanctioned and state legal adult use cannabis consumption space in the United States. Hopefully the first of many to come. Our final top story of the day is a chart, but a pretty extraordinary chart at that. Marijuana Business Daily's chart of the week shows the tremendous explosion in the amount of investment money flowing through the international legal marijuana industry. The two-part chart is dead simple in design, but brutally effective at conveying just how much bigger things are this year for legal marijuana fundraising compared to last year. In the first 6 weeks of 2017, the international legal marijuana industry brought in a total of $218 million of investment. In that same 6-week stretch this year, the total has grown to more than $1.4 billion. In that same time span, the average deal size rose from $5.6 million in 2017 to $18.7 million in 2018. As regular listeners should not be surprised to learn, most of that growth has come out of the Canadian legal marijuana industry, where public markets have given licensed medical cannabis companies the ability to raise funds of a size thought impossible just a few years ago. Of the 42 deals that took place in the first 6 weeks of 2018, 30 of them have been out of Canada. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Ease, California's top one-stop website for legal marijuana delivery. Ease's customers value the fact that Ease puts a substantial amount of energy into making sure that not only do they always comply strictly with California state cannabis law, but that their network of partner dispensaries do as well. That kind of strict attention to detail throughout the supply chain means that when you open up ease.com to place an order for legal cannabis delivery in California, you know you're only going to find quality products at great prices. Don't trust your cannabis delivery shopping dollars to anyone but the best. Open up ease.com, spelled E-A-Z-E, to check out if your slice of California allows for cannabis delivery. That's ease.com. And don't forget, ease.com/blog is where you should go to find lots of free and valuable bits of legal cannabis industry information, knowledge, and wisdom. That's ease.com for delivery and ease.com/blog for cannabis consumer insight and analysis. All right, time for the Blitz. Tom Angel picks up the first of his two headlines for the day with a story about the dismissal of a lawsuit seeking to overturn marijuana's status as a Schedule I drug under the Controlled Substances Act. This is another story we've reported on recently as a group of plaintiffs sought to force the government to remove cannabis from its position within the most restricted of drug categories. In dismissing the case, federal judge Alvin H. Hallerstein said that the plaintiffs had not gone through all the proper administrative channels necessary before a lawsuit was suitable. Pop over to Tom's piece on Marijuana Moment for all the details on this one. New York City police officials are being criticized for the fact that arrest statistics for the city show that the vast majority of people arrested for marijuana crimes continue to be Black or Latino. A total of 86% of those busted for cannabis in the city last year were Black or Latino, despite the fact that cannabis usage rates are pretty uniform across the racial and demographic spectrum. While the total number of arrests in the city for marijuana crimes last year were down over the previous, New York City Council members learned yesterday at a meeting with police officials that not much has changed about who cops are going after for smoking pot. NYPD police officials say they were only going to places where people were calling in complaints, though they were unable to back that assertion up with any kind of data. This is another good one to click over for the full read. With his second story today, Tom Angel over Marijuana Moment details the pro-cannabis stand taken by the California Democratic Party, which just voted to approve a party plank to, quote, support the ongoing legalization, regulation, and taxation of cannabis in a manner similar to that of tobacco or alcohol, while prioritizing the health, education, and safety of California's communities and the country over revenue or profits, unquote. The party also voted to withhold an endorsement of U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein, who is running for re-election at the age of 84 and who is a noted opponent of cannabis legalization. Pop over to Marijuana Moment for more text on other plank positions taken up by the party. The Chicago Sun-Times has a really interesting profile up of former FBI official Benjamin Thomas Wolf, who is running for U.S. Congress in the city of Chicago. The interesting part of the profile is how loud and proud Mr. Wolf is about his use of cannabis, with one of his recent campaign ads showing him sitting in front of a painting of an American flag while holding a lit joint. I don't know enough about local Illinois politics to know how strong this guy's chances really are, but I think it's notable that there's a pretty clean-cut looking former FBI official running for office who's making it a point of differentiation that he actually consumes cannabis. This is another good one to read in full. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Most of the nation's 50 governors have been in Washington, D.C. this past week for annual meetings to discuss various gubernatorial issues with federal officials. Rolling Stone has a great piece up looking at the different amount of resistance shown by various state governors to federal prohibition of cannabis. As they have it, pro-pot governors have largely been locked out of any real discussions with officials like Attorney General Jeff Sessions over how state and federal cannabis laws conflict. Another excellent one to open up. A new premium report from our friends over at the ArcView Group and BDS Analytics estimates that the worldwide legal marijuana industry will see $57 billion flow through it by 2027, with adult use making up a majority of that total with just under $40 billion. Click over to Weed News for some bullet points and for a link to where you can purchase the full 65-page report. And finally for today, some potential good news out of Washington state, where it looks like lawmakers have restored funding for their nascent hemp industry. We reported on this one recently as a budget request by Governor Jay Inslee did not include the $287,000 needed to fund the industrial hemp program, which started up last May with 175 acres of cultivation allowed. Capitol Press is reporting that Washington state lawmakers in the House and Senate have restored funding, though it's not reported yet by just how much. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Ease, and to all of our awesome Patreon listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says, Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with Marijuana Today. Today.
One take, Shay. One take.